Your Skinstructors tip of the week. If you're building something you care about, protect it early, even if it feels premature. So many educators, solo providers, and business owners wait until they're bigger to think about protection, structure, or legality. But the truth is, clarity and protection create confidence. When your name, brand, and mission are solid, you show up louder, clearer, and with way more peace of mind. And today's episode is a perfect example of that.
Hey everyone, welcome back to the Skinstructors. I'm Morgan.
And I'm Jolie. And before we do anything else, this is episode 50.
50. 50. We honestly can't even believe it.
I know this podcast started as like a little idea, some voice notes, but a lot of passion for education. And now we're here.
And to celebrate episode 50, we're doing a giveaway over on Instagram.
Yep.
So if you're listening to this, stay tuned through the rest of the episode to hear what we're giving away.
And the fact that we are celebrating 50 episodes ties in perfectly with our topic for today.
Yes, today we're talking about why we trademarked. And I'm so freaking excited to finally say this out loud. We are officially the Skinstructors with that little TM at the end.
Yay!
Like a real live, active, legally protected trademarked name.
Yes, that sentence feels so good to say and so good to hear. And for anyone listening who's newer here, quick backstory. The Skinstructors was actually not our original name.
Nope. We had already launched the podcast under a different name. We had branding. We had recorded episodes. We were building momentum and building that community. And then one day, I open up my DM requests and we get contacted by someone who already held a trademark.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and it wasn't even identical. It wasn't like a copy paste. Trust us. We searched for the trademark
Sure
and
did.
it wasn't there.
Yeah, but it was close enough that it mattered, close enough that it could cause confusion, and that's what's important here. So it's close enough that legally we couldn't just ignore it and move on.
Yeah, and I remember the initial reaction so clearly because yeah, it was pure frustration.
Yeah.
Like, are you kidding me right now? Like, we had just launched it and we had already poured time and energy and heart into this. So
yeah,
we were frustrated.
Yeah, it felt really personal, even though it wasn't.
Yeah, it felt super inconvenient
and scary.
I definitely stress about that. And honestly, it made us question everything for a second. Like, did we mess up? Did we do something wrong? Did we miss something on the trademark search site?
But once those emotions settled, we actually took a breath and we realized something really important.
This wasn't an attack. This wasn't someone trying to shut us down or steal anything.
Right. This was actually the system working exactly the way it's designed to work.
Yeah, and as frustrating as it was in that moment, it ended up protecting everyone involved, including us.
I would say looking back now, I'm honestly so thankful it happened when it did. I know we talk about this frequently, like how obsessed we are with our name, and I'm glad it happened when it did, not months or years later when we were more attached to our original name. And as uncomfortable as it was, it really forced us to pause and ask ourselves, is this name actually us? Or was it just the first idea that we liked and we ran with it?
Yeah, absolutely. And that pause was everything, because once we stopped trying to defend what we had and we gave ourselves some space to imagine like what it could be, that's when the Skinstructors came up.
I remember exactly when you said it. I was sitting next to you and I was like, oh my God, I'm obsessed. I love it so much.
No, I was like, I kind of just threw it out there.
It's stuck. I loved it. Yeah. The second you said it, it was one of those moments where just everything just clicked. There was no overthinking it. And you definitely didn't need to convince me of that one. It just felt right.
Yeah, absolutely. It felt original, and I was just trying to combine a couple words together that I felt like described us best and what we were all about.
Yeah. And it was original. It came from Jolie's brain.
It came straight from the
This is
brain.
not a ChatGPT name. This is Jolie's brain.
Right.
It's magical. I love it. And it's still so professional.
Yeah, totally. It's educational without being stiff or intimidating.
Yeah, it
Yeah.
sounded like us.
Yeah.
How we teach, how we talk, how we want people to feel when they learn.
Yeah. And most importantly, it was ours
Mhm.
and not a version of something else, not something close to another brand. It was just ours from the ground up.
Yeah, and what initially felt like a setback ended up being a redirection.
And that redirection pushed us into a brand that was stronger
And clearer.
and just way more aligned with what we had started with.
So let's talk about why we trademarked it and why trademarking matters.
Yeah.
Especially if you're an educator, an esthetician, a content creator, building something outside of just treating clients.
Yeah, because when you're creating a brand, whether it's a podcast, a course, an Instagram page, or an educational platform, you're not just choosing a cute name, you're creating intellectual property.
Exactly. And a trademark is what protects that name or a logo or even a slogan as it relates to you and how you do business.
Yeah, it's what legally connects that name to you and the services you provide.
So if someone else comes along using something confusingly similar, same industry, same audience, you actually have legal ground to stand on.
And the flip side of that is just as important. It protects you from accidentally building your brand on someone else's intellectual property.
Which, please learn from us. That part is huge.
Because you can do everything with good intentions and still end up in a situation where you're forced to pivot.
Absolutely. And that pivot might be early and manageable, like for us, or it could be years down the road, very expensive, stressful, and emotionally draining.
Yeah. And trademarking isn't about being dramatic or territorial, it's just about clarity.
And it gives you confidence to grow, to market, to sell, and to show up fully without constantly worrying about whether you're crossing a line. I can confidently say that now we can move forward with our name and know that it's ours.
Exactly.
We're protected.
Exactly. And when your name's protected, your energy can stay focused on what matters, which is your education, the impact, and just serving your people. So, transitioning into how the trademark process works, there's a simplified, like non-intimidating version of how trademarking works in the US because it does sound scary, but when you break it down, it's actually pretty logical.
It is. Step 1 is the search. Before you fall in love with a name, you check existing trademarks to see if your name or anything confusingly similar is already registered. Think about like different spellings. You know, when we are looking at SD, like not everyone, but there's plenty of different ways you can spell that. And you really have to check all of them.
Yeah. And when we say similar, we mean same industry, same type of service, same audience, not just exact spelling.
Because this is where people get tripped up. A name doesn't have to be identical as far as spelling or anything like that to cause an issue. It just has to create confusion. So if you have similar words and if it's confusing or if it could be mistaken for another trademark, then that's enough.
Step 2 is filing the application. You submit the name, how it's being used, and what category of business or services it falls under.
And that category part matters. Education, skincare services, digital content, those details are what define how your trademark is protected. If you use that name in multiple different categories, you have to file under each.
Yeah. And then comes the waiting game.
Oh, super fun. This is the part that surprises people the most. It takes a long time.
I mean, you filed that like what, a year ago, right? Almost.
Well, the second one I filed was probably in summer.
That's right.
Yeah.
So, I mean, at least 6 to 8 months. Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely.
Yeah, sometimes close to a year. And during that time, you might hear back with questions from the lawyer that's reviewing it, requests for clarification, or even minor changes that they want you to make.
And that doesn't mean you did anything wrong. It's just part of the process.
It is, but once it's approved, you have real protection. You're no longer just hoping no one copies you or accidentally crosses into your lane.
You actually have something official behind your brand.
And I do want to say this because the way we just broke it down makes it sound so simple and easy.
But honestly,
Yeah, I'm a stubborn person. I went ahead and did it myself, and thankfully it worked out for us.
yeah. But that's not always the case.
Right. It can be, it is super confusing.
Mhm.
There was a lot of searching of like, what does this mean? And I did it, but the language is very legal and the categories matter. And one small mistake can slow things down.
Mhm. So if you're not confident navigating it on your own, hiring a trademark attorney is honestly one of the best investments that you can make.
It is. It is. They walk you through it. They help you avoid mistakes, and they save you a lot of stress in the long run.
Especially if you're serious about growing what you're building.
Trademarking genuinely gave us a peace of mind, and not in a flashy way, but in that quiet behind the scenes way where you're not constantly second guessing yourself.
It gave us confidence to grow, to say yes to opportunities, to build bigger ideas without that little voice in the back of your head asking, is this safe? Are we allowed to do this?
And honestly, it made us take our business more seriously, which naturally changed how other people viewed it too.
Because when you treat what you're building like a real business, others follow your lead.
Yeah, we showed up differently, we spoke differently about it, and we planned with more intention.
And that confidence translates whether it's collaborators, brands, students, or listeners.
So if you're putting real time, real money, and real hurt into something you care about, protect it.
You're not being dramatic
Nope.
or extra. You're being smart and responsible. And it's one of the clearest signs that you believe what you're building enough to protect it.
All right, so it's homework time.
Yes. This week, we want you to look up your business name, brand name, or education platform and see what already exists. This can be done at uspto.gov. Just click on trademark search and put in a variety of entries to see what pops up.
Yeah, and you don't have to file tomorrow, but be aware because that awareness is the first step.
Knowledge is power.
Sure is. If you love this episode or if this podcast has helped you grow as an esthetician, we'd be so grateful if you left us a review.
It really helps more estheticians find us and helps keep the podcast going.
Oh, and more about the giveaway. Head over to our Instagram at SD Training. We have an awesome goodie basket full of some of our favorite products. And it's our little thank you for tuning in because episode 50 deserves a big celebration.
Thank you so much for being here, for learning with us, and for caring about education as much as we do.
And as always, don't hesitate to educate.